right, protect yourself at all times. We are on it. Start you out with little Bruce Springsteen on this Friday for the Vegas Sportscast. Glad to have you all with us here, and we are ready to rock and roll here today. And talk about, let's see, first of all, Vegas Golden Knights. We got UNLV basketball and NFL playoffs, big three to talk about now. Start you out as we normally do with the Vegas Golden Knights and what they are doing. 8-game win streak snapped last night at St. Louis, a 2-1 loss. Good, hard-fought game. This was a great hockey game. Didn't turn out the way Vegas fans would have liked it, but St. Louis, tough hockey team, and we're able to come away with a victory. And they've been fairly hot lately. So St. Louis on the road, by the way, in St. Louis is where this game was played. So tonight, Vegas Golden Knights take on Chicago, back-to-back games. Marc-Andre Fleury was in the nets last night, so it's likely Malcolm Subban will start tonight in the nets for the Vegas Golden Knights, because that's sort of been the trend. They've gone back and forth. They've alternated, especially on back-to-back nights where they've gone with one goalie than the other. And quite frankly, the way they're playing right now, either one of these two goalies can do the job. But the problem last night was obviously when you only score one goal in a game, it ain't Marc-Andre Fleury's fault for that loss. Gave up only two goals there. So Vegas Golden Knights tonight against the Chicago Blackhawks, and Jeff Glass is going to be in the nets for Chicago. Interesting story with this guy. Okay, he's 32 years old and the oldest NHL goalie. He was activated December 31st and won a game for the Blackhawks, and that was his first NHL game. Was the oldest NHL goalie to win in his first game in the NHL. So they're pretty excited about this guy. He's the backup goalie, and he's expected to start tonight against the Vegas Golden Knights. Jeff Glass is his name, but it is a fascinating story what he's been able to do in the NHL. Certainly a feel-good story, but the Knights are going to hope to make that feel-good story turn into a victory for them. Point spread on tonight, Chicago, slight favorite, minus 119. As for the total in this game, it's 5.5. Which is low for the Golden Knights game. They're one of the top scoring teams in the NHL, ranked 4th right now in scoring. So usually their games come up with a 6 on that total. With it being 5.5, I'm going to lean towards the over on this one tonight and think there's going to be some scoring in this game. If they can get to, I'll say the rookie goalie, again, a veteran goalie, in that he's old, but not that he's been in the NHL a whole lot. So I'm going to go with that. I'm going to take the over in tonight's game as one pick I'm going to make on that. Interesting side note, let's see, for the Vegas Golden Knights, you've got Pierre-Edouard Bellemare and his wife Hannah gave birth. She gave birth to a little boy yesterday, so congratulations to them. Truly Vegas-born little guy, Leandre Liam Bellemare. Okay, they're from France, if you couldn't tell. And so happy to see that. I talked to Pierre-Edouard Bellemare at practice, and we discussed, I did a story on it, in fact, the new year, how he was excited about having the new little one. And then almost bumped into, I didn't really bump into her, but almost bumped into his wife, Hannah, as they were leaving the game on Tuesday that went over Nashville. And I did this. I looked at Pierre and said, have you had your... And then I looked to the left and saw his wife, and then looked down and looked at her and said, you haven't. But now they have. That was Tuesday. And Thursday, 2 days later, she had their little boy. So congratulations to them, and it's their first. So, and this is sort of interesting as you see the Vegas Golden Knights family starting to grow and that sort of stuff that is literally growing in that sense. And these sort of stories, feel-good stories that people are starting to know. We're getting to know some of these sports stars with these teams and getting to know their families and that sort of stuff. So that's critical. That's important as this franchise grows here in Vegas. And by the way, Bellemare's pretty good forward. Okay, pretty good hockey player for this team, and is contributing quite a bit, and it just does the job. Where's number 41, if you're wondering who he is out there on the ice? So congratulations to the Bellemares. Now, Rebel basketball, tomorrow night they got a game, another conference game. They're 1-1 in league play. They lost their opener at home to Boise State, then won in overtime at San Jose State, which still I shake my head over and go, how do you go to overtime at San Jose State? No, that's probably the worst team in the league, maybe one of the worst teams in the country. And the Rebels were lucky to win that game on that ugly basketball court they have there. And I've sent out the pictures already, and I'm talking about it enough here. So I'll let it go until next year when they play there again, or unless they change that thing. Okay, and I can reward them for doing that. But tomorrow night, Saturday, Utah State comes here to the Thomas & Mack. Not a bad basketball team, not a good basketball team. Rebels should be favored in this one by a dozen or more, maybe 15. Should win it by 20. But this team is not tough. This team has no toughness. That's the battle cry for Rebel basketball for a long time. And I don't know what to do. I don't know what to say about it. Talented team? Absolutely. Well coached? Absolutely. But just doesn't have the grittiness, the toughness. I don't know how to describe it. I mean, guys that'll fly through walls, guys that'll take a charge, guys that'll forearm shiver somebody as they're driving down the lane. I'm not saying you get a technical foul and get and injure somebody and put them out and you get gone, suspended for 5 games. I'm not talking about that sort of stuff, toughness. Just toughness. Just play tough, play hard. The rules make it tougher because they are more sensitive about physical play nowadays than they used to be, but still, toughen up a little bit, Rebels. This team is talented enough to do some great things. They're 12-3 right now, 1-1 in league play, but they're not going to do anything if they're not tough. That's it. And they haven't covered the spread in the 2 league games. So I would look. I haven't seen the spread yet because it's not out. Not going to be out until tomorrow morning. But look again for the Rebels to be a team that just sort of go against right now against the point spread as they're just not tough in league play. And other teams in the league are tough. Okay? So there's the difference. Oh, speaking of toughness, we got NFL coming up on Saturday and Sunday. So tomorrow and Sunday, NFL games. First game is going to be about a 1:30 kickoff. That's going to be Tennessee at Kansas City. Yeah, somehow Tennessee made the playoffs, but Tennessee's a bad team. I'm going to make my picks here, okay? I'm going to give you 4 teams that are all going to win, okay? Tennessee at Kansas City. Kansas City's -5.5. I like Kansas City. Like the Chiefs in this one, just because Tennessee should never have made the playoffs. We're lucky to make the playoffs. They are one of the few teams ever to make the NFL playoffs that have that have scored fewer points than their opponents during the season. Okay, now think about that for a second. And Kansas City is on a roll right now. And what happened with Kansas City, about 5-6 games left in the season. The call playing responsibilities, Andy Reid, head coach, was calling the plays throughout the season up until that point. He gave it over to his offensive coordinator, and they have been rolling since then. I expect Kansas City to roll big against Tennessee and cover that 8.5-point spread. That's a big number. I realize that. But there you go. Atlanta at the LA Rams. This spread is interesting what's happened there. It's now down to 5.5. That's going to be a 5 o'clock kickoff, about 5:15 on the Pacific Coast. For Atlanta at the LA Rams, interesting, intriguing story. Two real good football teams here, and 2 teams that either one could win the NFC. The NFC is wide open. I know Minnesota's the favorite, but the NFC is wide open right now. But Atlanta at the LA Rams. Rams -5.5 now. That was 6.5 yesterday. It's now 5.5. So money coming in on the Atlanta Falcons on this one. So the lower that number gets, the more I like the Rams. Of course, I'm going to go with that and I'm going to even it's 6.5, 7 points. I was all over Atlanta. 5. It does make a difference. The 5.5, taking the Rams, giving up 5.5 points in this one. So laying the points there in that one as well. Buffalo at Jacksonville. You know what? I'm going to lay the points probably in all. Wait, hold on. Maybe not in one. But Buffalo at Jacksonville, which is surprising. That's a Sunday game. Sunday, 10 o'clock. Why is this even a playoff game? But Jacksonville's -8.5. Great defensive team. Not real good offensively. I'm not going to make a pick on this one. How about that one? If I don't know, I'm not going to try to pretend like I do. Okay, low-scoring game probably, and the theory is in a low-scoring game, you take the points. So my tendency would be to take Buffalo plus 8.5. But that being said, Buffalo, Jacksonville, barely a playoff game, but it is. They're playing it on Sunday morning. Okay, and the Sunday, the second game, about a 1:30 kickoff. This would be a good one, an NFC matchup here. Carolina at New Orleans, and the Saints minus 6.5. Come on now. Is Carolina going to show what they did a couple of years ago when they made the Super Bowl, when they lost in the Super Bowl, but played in the Super Bowl? Cam Newton, two great quarterbacks in the NFL. Drew Brees for New Orleans and Cam Newton for Carolina. Can Cam Newton bring it back, make it come back? Less than a touchdown here. I'm going New Orleans minus the 6.5. I'm going with Drew Brees. Love everything they've been doing this year. And I think they played in it. Tough division doesn't matter here in this one, but just a good football team. Taking New Orleans in this one. So there are my picks in the NFL for you. And again, Vegas Golden Knights tonight. It is a 5:30 Pacific time start from Chicago Stadium. Vegas Golden Knights against the Chicago Blackhawks on the road. Should be fun. Looking forward to this. They played here earlier this year, and the Knights beat the Blackhawks in Vegas. So a little bit of revenge, another Western Conference Midwest Division opponent here with the Blackhawks, but we'll see what the Vegas Golden Knights can do tonight. It's going to be on AT&T Sportsnet broadcast there. And again, the Knights slight underdogs here, but this story continues to amaze people in what they're doing this year with the best record in the West, right? The best record in the West right now, and the second best record in the NHL is just phenomenal for an expansion team. But it's hard to consider them anymore an expansion team because they're just setting regular records, not expand. They've broken all the expansion records. They're going to bust through all of those. That's no problem. But just that they've been able to just do some phenomenal things just as a team throughout the expansion part of it. But that's it. Hope you've enjoyed it. Thanks for listening. Tell a friend. Let people know. You can find this podcast anywhere fine podcasts are sold for free. But go to our website, thevegassportscast.com. Follow us on Twitter at Vegas Sportscast. I'm Ron Futrell. Have a good weekend, everybody. We'll be back with much more coming up. But again, like I said, tell a friend. Let people know about Vegas Sportscast. Bye for now.